Hello everyone. Welcome to our journey to discover one of Europe's most famous peoples, the English. You might think you know them, the language, the tea, the royal family. But who are the English really? Where did they come from? What stories do they carry in their blood? In this video, we will travel back in time, explore their language, culture, history, and much more. So, sit back, relax, and let's begin this amazing story. A long, long time ago, before England was called England, the land was full of forests, rivers, and quiet green hills. People lived in small groups, called tribes. They hunted animals, they gathered food, and they lived close to nature. The first people we know of were called the Celts. They came a very long time ago, before writing or books. The Celts were strong and brave. They painted their faces for war, told stories by firelight, and believed in many gods. They had no cities, but they built small villages. They loved music, dancing, and they respected nature. Then, around the 5th century, new people came by sea. They were called the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. These people came from what we now call Germany and Denmark. They brought boats, tools, and new ways of farming. They did not speak Celtic languages. Their words were strong and sharp, and slowly people began to change the way they spoke. They fought many battles. They took land and built villages. Some Celts moved to the mountains in Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. The new people made small kingdoms. They gave new names to places. They worked hard on farms, raised animals, and grew food. One of the biggest tribes was the Angles. Their name gave birth to a new word, England, the land of the Angles. But peace did not last forever. One day, fierce warriors came in ships with dragon heads. They were the Vikings. The Vikings came from Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. They were strong, fast, and very good at sailing. At first, they came to steal. They took gold, food, and burned villages. People were afraid. But then, some Vikings stayed. They built homes, farms, and started families. They also changed the language again. Many Viking words are still used today, like sky, egg, and knife. The old and new mixed, and the land changed once more. Kings rose and fell. Some wanted to fight the Vikings, others made peace with them. It was a time of war and change. Then, in the year 1066, something big happened. A man named William came from a place called Normandy in France. William said he should be king. He came with an army, fought a big battle called the Battle of Hastings, and won. He became King William I, also known as William the Conqueror. He changed many things about life in England. William spoke French, so French became the language of the king and his court. English changed again. Words like crown, castle, court, and noble came from French. People began to mix Old English with these new words. William also built big stone castles. These castles showed power. They protected the land and the people living near them. The Normans made laws, counted land and people, and ruled with strong hands. They stayed in power for many years. But still, the old ways did not die. People remembered their tribes, their songs, their stories. These memories lived on in hearts. Slowly, over hundreds of years, all these people, Celts, Saxons, Vikings, Normans, became one people. They built towns and churches. They spoke one language, called English, made from many old ones. They told stories of great kings, of heroes and queens, of knights and dragons, and of love and loss. And that is how the land called England was shaped by so many hands, so many voices. It is not one story, but many stories together, woven like a great old cloth, colored by time. Now, when we speak English, we speak the voices of all these people. We carry history in every word. So next time you say sky, or castle, or land, remember the people who lived, fought, and loved long before you. Their stories are not gone. They live in us, in every sentence, in every English word we say. And maybe, one day, you too will tell this story in your own voice, in your own way. A long time ago, there was no English. There were only sounds from many different people. Some lived by the sea. Some lived in forests. They spoke in their own ways, using words we don't know today. Then, some new people came. They came from faraway lands. They were the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. They came by boat and made homes in a new land. These people brought new words. Words for water, sun, sky, and bread. Their words became the start of what we now call Old English. Years later, the Vikings came. They came in strong ships, and they also brought words, words like sky, egg, and window. At first, the Vikings were fighters, but some stayed. They lived with the people, and their words became part of English too. Then, in the year 1066, another big change came. The Normans from France came and became rulers of the land. The Normans spoke French. They used words like castle, courage, and beauty. And these words joined the English language, making it richer and softer. At the same time, people in the church and schools spoke and wrote in Latin. So English learned Latin words too. Words like animal, school, and nature came from Latin books and teachings. English was growing, becoming full of many voices. All these people, from many different places, gave something special to the English we speak today. Now, English is not just one language. It is a mix of many. It is like a big, warm soup full of many flavors and colors. Every word has a story. Every sound has a history. When you learn English, you learn about people, time, and change. English is always growing. Every year, it gets new words from music, from the internet, and from people all over the world. Learning English is like joining a journey. It connects you to stories from the past and helps you speak to the future. It is not just a language, it is a world. So keep learning, keep speaking, because with every word you become part of the English story. Let me tell you a story about a place called England.v. It is a small country, but its culture is rich and beautiful. Everywhere you go in England, you can feel history. In the buildings, in the food, and in the hearts of the people. One special tradition in England is afternoon tea. This is not just about drinking tea. It is a quiet moment to enjoy life. People sit together, drink warm tea, and eat little cakes and sandwiches. It is peaceful, friendly, and very English. Afternoon tea began long ago. A lady felt hungry before dinner, so she had tea and snacks in the afternoon. Soon, it became a tradition. Today, many people in England still enjoy afternoon tea. In homes, in cafes, and in beautiful old tea rooms. But English culture is not just tea. It is also full of energy and fun. One big passion in England is football, the game with a ball and a goal. Football is more than a game. It is love, it is hope, and it brings people together. On weekends, fans fill the stadiums and cheer. They wear their team's colors, sing songs, and clap their hands. From small children to old men, everyone loves football. And when England plays in the World Cup, the whole country watches. Shouts, cheers, and even tears fill the air with emotion. Now, let's talk about food. Traditional English food is warm and comforting. One famous dish is fish and chips. Crispy fish, soft chips, and a touch of salt. Another is the Sunday roast, meat, potatoes, and vegetables, all cooked with love, and served with tasty Yorkshire pudding. These meals are part of family life. They bring people to the table. They share stories, laugh, and enjoy being together. English culture also celebrates big days. One special night is bonfire night. It happens every year in November. There are big fires and bright fireworks. Families go outside, watch the lights in the sky, and remember a story from the past. A man named Guy Fawkes and his plan. This mix of fun and history makes English festivals so special. People dress warm, drink hot drinks, and listen to old stories. And of course, English people love Christmas and Easter. With Christmas trees, songs and gifts, and Easter eggs and spring flowers. These holidays are full of love. Families come together, homes shine with lights, and children play and smile. Now think about clothing. In the past, English people wore fancy hats and coats. Men wore bowler hats, and women wore elegant dresses. Today, fashion has changed, but some styles remain. Tweed jackets, hats, and umbrellas still show the charm of English style. It is quiet, simple, and smart. Just like the English people themselves, they are polite, kind, and calm. They enjoy small things in life. English culture is not loud. It is soft, like tea on a rainy day. It is warm, like a hug from a friend. It is deep, like a story told at night. So when you learn English, you are not just learning words. You are learning feelings, memories, and traditions. You are learning how people live, how they laugh, and how they love. You are joining a story, a very old and beautiful one. And now, this story is yours too. So drink your tea, kick a football, and smile like the English do. Welcome to English culture. A world of history, heart, and home. Let me tell you a story. It's not about kings or wars. It's not about gold or power. It's about something inside the heart, faith. A long time ago, in Old England, people lived in small villages. They worked on farms, fished in rivers, and prayed to many different gods. They believed in nature, the sun, the moon, and the wind. They lit fires. They made offerings to the earth. But one day, something new came. Men came from faraway lands. They carried crosses, books, and smiles. They spoke of love and peace. These men were Christian monks. They told stories of Jesus, a man who helped the poor, who forgave, who loved everyone. The people listened. They were moved. They saw hope, and slowly they began to believe. Villagers built small churches. People gathered on Sundays. They sang songs and read the Bible. This new faith became strong. As years passed, Christianity became the heart of England. It was more than just prayer. It was part of life. In the 1500s, something big happened. A king named Henry VIII wanted to change the church. He made a new one, the Church of England. This was called the English Reformation. It was a hard time. Some people were angry. Some were afraid. But change came. The new church used English, not Latin. People could finally understand the prayers. Faith became more personal. This church became part of the nation. It shaped English culture, English holidays, and English schools. It became a strong part of life. But England did not stay the same. Time moved forward. The world changed, and England opened its arms. People came from India, Pakistan, Africa, the Caribbean, and many other places. They brought new food, new clothes, and new faiths. Today, England is diverse. In cities, you can hear church bells, and also the call to prayer. You can see temples, mosques, and synagogues. Muslims pray 5 times a day. They fast in Ramadan and celebrate Eid with food and family. Their faith is full of love. Hindus light lamps for Diwali, tell stories of their gods, and believe in peace and balance. Their colors brighten the streets. Jews remember history with Shabbat. They gather as families, share meals, and read from the Torah. They keep their traditions strong. There are also Buddhists who sit in silence, breathe slowly, and think about kindness and peace. And some people have no religion. They believe in doing good, loving others, and making the world better. All these beliefs live together, side by side, in streets, in schools, in shops, and in hearts. This is the new face of England. Not just one faith, but many voices, singing different songs of hope. Religion in England is no longer just one path. It is many roads, many lights, and many dreams. And this is beautiful, because it teaches us to listen, to learn, and to love each other. When you learn English, you are not just learning words. You are learning these stories, the stories of people, of faith, of heart. So now, you are part of it. You are walking in this story, and your voice, your dream, matters too. Let me tell you a story of a land with castles, kings, and storms. A land where people fought, cried, and hoped. This is the story of England. A long time ago, the land was divided. Many people lived in small kingdoms. They spoke different languages. They had different leaders. Then came the year 1066. A man from France, called William the Conqueror, sailed across the sea. He came with an army and a dream. He wanted to be king. He fought a big battle, the Battle of Hastings. The English king was defeated. William became the new king of England. This was the start of great change. New laws, new castles, new rulers. People had to learn new ways. But they did not forget their past. Years passed, and new battles came. Families fought for the crown. One famous time was called the Wars of the Roses. It was a war between 2 families, Lancaster and York. These wars lasted many years. Brothers fought brothers. Fathers lost sons. But the people kept going. In the end, a new king rose. His name was Henry VII. He started the Tudor family of kings. Peace began to grow again. Then came the time of explorers. England looked to the sea. Brave men sailed across oceans. They found new lands, new people, and new riches. This was the age of exploration. England built ships, made maps, and created colonies. They brought back gold, spices, and stories. But it was not always good. Some people were hurt. Some lands were taken. Some lives were lost. This time brought both power and pain. Later, England became the heart of a great empire. They ruled lands in Africa, Asia, and America. The sun never set on the British flag. But the world was changing. Then came another big change, the Industrial Revolution. It started in England. New machines were made. Factories were built. People moved from villages to cities. They worked long hours. They built trains, bridges, and tall buildings. Life became faster and harder. Children worked too. Smoke filled the sky, but hope was still there. People dreamed of better days. England became strong, but strength comes with struggle. There were protests. There were fights for rights. People wanted better homes, better schools, better lives, and they kept on fighting. Through every storm, the people stood tall. They lost loved ones, but they never gave up. England faced many wars, big ones like World War I and World War II. Many soldiers died, many families cried. But even in dark times, England found light. They helped others. They rebuilt their cities. The people showed resilience, a strong heart that keeps beating even when times are hard. That is what made England special. Today, England is modern. The cities are bright. The people are many. But the stories of the past still live on. You can see them in old castles, in museums, and in books. You can hear them in songs, in stories told by grandparents. Learning English is not just about words. It's about learning this story. The story of a land that rose and fell, but always stood again. When you speak English, you carry this story in your voice. You carry the dreams of sailors, the strength of workers, the courage of kings, and the heart of everyday people. Remember, every country has struggles, but some countries turn pain into pride. England is one of them. So next time you drink tea, or walk past a brick building, or read a story about a knight, think of this history. Think of the battles, the hope, the change, and the never-ending story of England. You are now part of that story, because by learning English, you are walking with kings and workers, sailors and scholars. Your journey is just beginning, and just like England, you are strong. You are learning, you are growing, and your voice matters. This is not just England's story. This is your story too. Let me tell you a story. A story about a small island with a big voice. A voice that has traveled across the world. This is the story of modern England. Today, England is part of the United Kingdom. The UK has 4 parts: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. They are like a family, sharing one home. England is the largest part, and in the heart of England is London, a city full of life, lights, and people. Millions live there, from many places, many stories. Walk down a street in London, and you will hear many languages. You will smell food from India, Africa, and China. You will see faces from every corner of the earth. London is more than a capital. It is a global city, a place where the world come together, a place that feels both old and new. But English people are not just in England. Many have moved to other countries, to America, to Canada, to Australia. They carried their language and culture with them. They built new homes, new lives, new dreams, but they also shared their stories, and the world listened. That is how English culture began to spread, through people, books, music, and ideas. And soon, it touched every part of the globe. English literature is famous. Writers like William Shakespeare and Jane Austen wrote stories that still live today. People everywhere read their books. In music, England gave us legends. The Beatles, Queen, Adele, voices that changed the world of sound. Songs that made people dance, cry, and dream. In sports, England is strong too. Football began there. Today, millions watch English football every week. Teams like Manchester United and Liverpool have fans worldwide. And in technology, England also shines. It gave birth to great minds like Alan Turing, who helped build the first computers. Now, tech from England helps connect the world. English culture has touched so many lives, but it never forgets its roots. The tea shops, the red buses, the green fields, and quiet villages, they are still there. So what does it mean to be English today? It means holding two things at once. A love for small places, like the old pub on the corner, .v, and a love for the world with its big, loud cities. Being English today is being local and global. It is drinking tea at home and watching the Olympics with friends across the sea. It is writing in English and being read in Tokyo, Cairo, and Buenos Aires. The English identity is always growing. It is open, it is curious, it listens and it shares. And this makes England more than just a country. It makes it a bridge between history and today, between small towns and giant cities, between people everywhere. And now, you are part of this story. By learning English, you are walking on that bridge. You are joining millions who speak, learn, and connect. You may live far from London, but with every English word you learn, you come a little closer. So smile when you say hello, because your voice now carries part of England's story, a story of tea and technology, of poetry and football, of heart and hope. Let me tell you a story about a small country that gave the world some of its greatest minds. This is the story of England's heroes. Long ago, in a town called Stratford-upon-Avon, a baby was born. His name was William Shakespeare. He loved words. He grew up and became a writer. He wrote plays and poems. He told stories of love, pain, hope, and dreams. People cried and laughed at his words. Even today, after 400 years, his plays are read in schools all over the world. Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Macbeth, his words still live in our hearts. Now, let's move to science. A young boy sat under a tree. An apple fell. That boy was Isaac Newton. He asked, why did the apple fall? He found answers. He discovered gravity. He changed how we see the world. Newton also made rules called laws of motion. Thanks to him, we understand how things move. Planes fly, cars run, and rockets rise because of Newton's questions. Another great thinker was Charles Darwin. He loved animals and nature. He studied plants, birds, and bugs. He wanted to understand life. He traveled the world. He looked at creatures on islands. He saw how they changed over time. He wrote a book, The Origin of Species. That book gave us the theory of evolution. It helped people understand how life grows and changes. Darwin's idea was big and bold, and it made people think in new ways. But England did not only give us science and books, it also gave us music. Have you heard of the Beatles? 4 boys from Liverpool made songs that the world danced to. Hey Jude, Let It Be. Yesterday they sang about love, peace, and dreams. People around the world sang with them. They became a symbol of hope and joy. Their music still plays everywhere today, in cars, cafes, and hearts. And then came the sports stars. England loves football, and it gave us legends. Players who ran, kicked, scored, and inspired millions. They played with heart. They played for their people. And they showed the world the spirit of English sport. Fast, strong, fair, and full of passion. England also has Nobel Prize winners. Men and women who worked hard in medicine, peace, and art. They changed lives with their minds and hearts. All these people, Shakespeare, Newton, Darwin, the Beatles, footballers, and prize winners, are not just names in history. They are dreams that became real. They are lights that still shine. They show us what is possible, even from a small island. Their stories teach us something big. You can start small. You can dream big. You can touch the world. And now, dear listener, you are learning English. Maybe it feels hard today, but remember, big things start small, like Shakespeare with his pen, like Newton with his apple, like the Beatles with a guitar, like Darwin with his notebook. They were once just learners, like you. So never give up. Speak, read, and write with joy. Your story is just beginning. And who knows, one day the world may say your name too. And remember your story, just like the great people of England. Long ago, in the heart of England, people sat by the fire and told stories. Stories of heroes, kings, and brave fighters. These stories were not just for fun, they gave hope. One of the most famous stories is about King Arthur. He was a wise and brave king. He had a sword called Excalibur, and he sat at a round table with his knights. The round table was special. It had no head. That meant everyone was equal. No one was above the other. King Arthur and his knights were loyal. They helped the poor. They fought for justice. They believed in doing what was right. One of the knights was Sir Lancelot. He was strong, but also kind. He helped people who had no one. He showed that real strength comes from the heart. Another famous story is about Robin Hood. He lived in a forest called Sherwood. He wore green clothes, carried a bow, and was fast like the wind. Robin Hood had many friends. They were called merry men. Together, they helped poor people. They took from the rich and gave to the hungry. Robin Hood was not a king, but he acted like a hero. He stood up for people who were weak. He fought against unfair laws. These old English legends are not just old stories. They live on today. They are in books, movies, and plays. People around the world love them. Why do these stories still matter? Because they teach us values. Bravery, standing tall even when afraid. Loyalty, standing by friends and family. They also teach fairness, that everyone should be treated the same, that power should be used for good, that heroes can come from anywhere, even if you live far from England. These stories can touch your heart. They speak to every person in every language. They remind us to believe in what is right. Now, you are learning English, and through these stories, you also learn about English hearts via their dreams, hopes, and values. Remember, the words you learned today are keys to great stories tomorrow, and maybe, one day, you will tell your own story, like a legend. So now you know the story of the English people, their origins, language, culture, struggles, and achievements. They are a people made from many histories, always changing and growing. If you enjoyed this journey, please like, share, and subscribe, and tell us in the comments which European ethnic group should we explore next. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.